Today. Said Maktal is Bashir Makhtal's cousin. They were raised in the same house in Somalia, and Said Maktal has been leading efforts in Canada to get his cousin out of Ethiopia. He is with me in Toronto this morning. Hello.
Good morning.
You just listened to David McGuffin. Any surprises there?
There's always surprises about the case, and that he was part of the ONLF. I'm actually still surprised about that. So. And I'm going to stick my word that my brother's never been, active member of the ONLF.
You call him your brother. He's your cousin, but he's like cousin. Your brother?
Absolutely. He's my big brother. So we grew up in the same house.
Now, you have always maintained that he was sympathetic to the ONLF, but not an active member. What do you make of this document and what that says that he was a key member? And what do you make of his defense lawyer there kind of saying, well, yeah, he was a member?
Again, we need to understand this is in Ethiopia and this is in the third world countries where the lawyers and I can say even the judges they have no right or freedom of speak, right? So therefore, the lawyer that could be he got some pressure from the government saying that, but the reason why I'm saying my cousin was sympathetic for the ONLF was because the document that I have received way back from himself. He actually indicated in there that he was sympathetic, but he never been active of ONLF.
And they're also saying that the document came from Bashir Makhtal's wife in Nairobi. Did you talk to her?
I have been actually informed that yesterday, and I made a phone call to the wife, and I talked to her about an hour, and she wasn't aware of any information about that document. And again, I like to clear one thing, there is... we are the family of Makhtal Dahin, and there's a history of a lot of enemy from that region to our family. So, I won't be surprised that there is people that always fabricating and statement against my family.
Because your grandfather was one of the founders.
Absolutely, absolutely. Yeah.
So you're saying all of you are tarred with that, or identified if not tarred?
Absolutely. I'd like to give you also some example for that. Bashir himself is older brother who's over 60 years old in prison right now as we speak. He's been sentenced for 15 years, and his two sons, one of them 10 years and the other one is a life sentence. His sister has been put in prison in Ethiopia. She spent about 8 months, and then finally they let her go, and all the families been targeted. What makes Bashir will be different?
So when you see these charges, these 4 charges, all of which carry a death penalty,
right.
Charged with being a member, of being an army coordinator who trained and armed Ethiopians in the Somali ethnic group, running a guerrilla base, how do you react to those charges?
Okay, I have received another document from Bashir himself about a few days ago where he indicated, where he's telling me that all the 4 charges, the bottom line is there is only one charge, and the charge they actually saying is that he's a part of the ONLF, right? And I'm from the Ogaden region, so I can say to you that I'm sympathy for the Ogaden, right? Anyone from the Ogaden region is being targeted to be a member of the ONLF, right? So this is what Ethiopian government been doing for years and years. They are well known. Thousands of Ogaden people are in the prisons in Ethiopia, and their charges always is like, oh, she or he is a member of the ONLF. So to me, I will never believe the Ethiopian government what they're saying against my people, and I will never believe now. It's an accusation and fabrication and a lie, right? And as a matter of fact, there are so many lies since this case started. And one of the lies that I have right now in front of me is a document that I have received from the lawyer himself.
This is the defense lawyer.
This is the
Ethiopia?
Defense lawyer. Yeah. It says here in this letter that Bashir has been captured with the ICU combatant, right? In Akuta. Akuta is the southern Somalia. My brother and my cousin never been arrested there. My brother, he's been arrested when he was crossing the border for Kenya. Right?
That's right. We all know that he was actually
for the record, everyone knows for that. And this document I have in my hand, it says it's come from a National Security Agency of Somalia. First of all, where do we have the National Security Agency of Somalia? It doesn't even exist, right? So it's one of the fabrication document that the Ethiopian government has against my cousin. So are we going to continue believing these people, or are we going to say enough is enough, bring my brother home?
We have another guest with us. Lauren Waldman is here in Toronto. He is Bashir Makhtal's Canadian lawyer. Lorne Waldman, how hopeful are you that Mr. Makhtal will even have a fair trial?
Well, if there is a trial in Ethiopia, it's clear it could never be fair. If you look at any of the reports from objective agencies, including the Department of State, it's clear that there's no judicial independence and there's a great deal of political interference in the judicial system, especially in high-profile political cases like this. So the possibility of a fair trial is non-existent in Ethiopia for Bashir Makhtal.
Now, we know that the Transport Minister, John Baird, has taken an interest in this, and he has told the Ethiopian government Canada expects Mr. Makhtal to be treated fairly. We heard that there were Canadian officials in the courtroom. What role do you see the Canadian government playing? What role do you think the Canadian government should be playing? He is a dual citizen.
This raises the whole issue of whether cases should be dealt with at a high-profile level or not. As we know, this was the debate that occurred in the case of Mayor Arar, and I think experience there showed that at least in some cases a high-profile intervention is extremely important. I believe that in the case of Ethiopia, where we have a very generous aid program, some of that aid, in fact, going to governance and to improvement of the legal system, that we have a very strong leverage. Up until now, there hasn't been high-level involvement of the Canadian government. The officials have been working very hard, but we learned that political intervention from the government is extremely important. The fact that John Baird has now gotten involved, and he is a high-profile member of the Harper cabinet, is a very positive sign. But for there to be a resolution of this case, we need the intervention to come from the highest levels. That would be from the Prime Minister directly to the Ethiopian government, making it clear that Canada is not happy with what's happening and that there will be political consequences if a Canadian citizen isn't treated fairly.
And Mr. Makhtal, what are you hearing from John Baird's office? What are you hearing in your talks with Ottawa officials?
Actually, I met Minister John Baird the other day, 2 days ago, and he promised that the whole government is watching this case, and they are actually said we will wait the outcome of this court, which is today. Then after that, they're going to take a serious steps. So to me, I can say I'm positive about that, and I'm quite happy about his response, and I'm hoping that he fulfill his promises.
In your meeting with Mr. Baird, did he indicate what he wanted the ambassador to do in Ethiopia? Did he indicate what he might do in terms of going to Ethiopia or getting involved on that level?
I mean, what Minister John Baird told me was at the time that he instructed the ambassador to attend the court, which was today, right? And other than that, I mean, we did not have any conversation about what he asked him to do.
And so officials went. Is that the same thing, Lorne Waldman?
No.
Then the same as the ambassador going?
No. Obviously the presence of the ambassador would have been an important political message to the Ethiopian government, although the ambassador has been involved in this case on other occasions, and at one point I believe the former ambassador did visit Bashir. He was the first person to see him, if I'm not mistaken, from the Canadian embassy. So the fact that the ambassador didn't attend today perhaps is disappointing. We will just have to wait and see now how much political pressure the Harper government puts on Ethiopia. That's the vital issue at this time.
Do we know of any plans for Canadian officials to be going through Ethiopia anytime soon where they could raise this?
There was a suggestion that we had in conversations with John Baird that he personally might go to Ethiopia, and that would be a very important step if he were to take that step and were to actually go. This would be a senior official of this government going, and that would be a very clear political message. Okay, gentlemen, thank you very much. Welcome. Thank you. Said Maktal is Bashir Makhtal's cousin. Lorne Waldman is Bashir Makhtal's lawyer in Canada. Well, as we mentioned, John Baird has taken an active interest in Bashir Makhtal's case. He is Canada's federal transport minister. He represents the riding of Ottawa West Nepean, a riding with a large Somali community. And he says the federal government has told the Ethiopian government that it expects Mr. Makhtal to be treated fairly. The minister's traveling today and was unavailable for an interview. He did, however, speak to this issue at a press conference on Tuesday.
I am, as a Canadian, as a member of Parliament, as a senior representative of the Government of Canada, very concerned about this case. It's been strongly represented to me by many, many, many constituents. We had a recent town hall meeting. We had several hundred people out. I'm concerned about it. I've been working very closely with my cabinet colleague at Foreign Affairs, with the Foreign Affairs officials. We argued that he be transferred from military court to civilian court in Ethiopia, and they've done that. We've argued very strenuously for regular consular access. They've given us that. The man is entitled to legal representation. They've given us that. They have also finally, in recent months, brought charges against him, which have been adjourned twice. Canada will be watching.
John Baird is Canada's Federal Transport Minister.